Hello everybody and welcome back to Elite Dangerous Return from Beagle Point. We are continuing our adventure trying to get back to the bubble, having gone all the way out to Beagle Point. The purpose of the journey has been to increase our exobiology as well as hopefully earn enough money for buying a fleet carrier. Today's topic of discussion while we work around doing all these repetitive tasks is going to be defining success. But before we do all of that, we'll go ahead and go through the cycle of operations for any new viewers who may be joining us now in case you're wondering what's going on. While I babble about whatever topic of the day, we have a cycle of things that we do as we're going. We'll hop into a system. As you can see here, once we get into the system, we'll go ahead and pop the discovery scanner to see how many bodies there are in the system. And then after that, we'll go ahead and perform a fuel scooping operation to keep our tanks topped off, because that's kind of an important task to keep going as you're out here in the black. There's nowhere to refuel as you're doing that. Once we're done with our refueling operations, we will go ahead and hop into the full spectrum system scanner looking for high value planets, which I have arbitrarily defined as water worlds, Earth-like worlds, and ammonia worlds. We'll go ahead and check out that here in just a second. You can look on the spectrum here. We have Earth-like worlds, if you look at the bottom right of the screen, ammonia worlds, and water worlds. We don't have any in this system, but we do have 13 bodies available to scan. Again, I have arbitrarily set a limit of 15. It's a soft limit. It changes based on my mood. 15 bodies to decide if we're going to go ahead and do a full-on scan of the system. Too many more than that, and it just takes too long versus how, trying to make progress towards getting back to the bubble. So anyways, that's what we're doing right here. If you look in the top right of the screen where it says features, we're looking for biological signatures. So if you see one of those, that's where we're going to stop and go and find a planet and try to do that. And we're looking for at least 2. So I won't be heading over to a body unless it has at least 2 biological signatures on it. So we'll finish scanning this system. We have 3 more bodies left, and then we'll get to our topic for today. Let's get back over here. And the last one does not look like we have anything here. All right, so moving along, get on to the next system. So, like I said, the topic of discussion for today is one that I may have covered before. I don't really recall. We've done so many of these episodes at this point, but I was casting about in my brain for something to talk about, and success was just one of those things that just kind of recurs every once in a while. So one of the things that I I really try to focus on when I think about the idea of success is that there is no single definition for the concept of being successful. Society will try to tell you that you can only consider yourself successful if you have a certain amount of money, or a certain amount of stuff, or a certain amount of status, or a certain amount of this, or a certain amount of that. But the reality is that with so many different people in the world with their own desires and wishes and goals and all of that kind of stuff, success is one of those things that is extremely personal, and for each person in the world there is a completely unique version of success. And when we allow ourselves to be swayed by what society tells us success is, a lot of times we're missing out on the true joy of life because we're chasing something that doesn't have the potential to make us happy in the first place. If you're not the kind of person who, I think in general people aren't really as materialistic as our society has convinced us that we should be. There's a reason why, they say money doesn't buy happiness. Obviously, it buys happiness to a certain extent. If you're able to get enough money so where you don't have to worry about survival anymore, well, there's a certain amount of happiness that comes with that. But after that, more stuff doesn't really provide more happiness unless you're just really the kind of person who, whether you fall into 2 categories, either you have become you've allowed yourself to become so materialistic that new stuff only new stuff can make you happy, or the dreams that you have require money to get to them. So, like for example, I've said in the past that one of my dreams is to sail around the world. Well, that's not something you can just do for free. You have to have a certain amount of money to be able to do that. I'm still working in my life to try to get to the point where I can do that. But for me, money in and of itself isn't the goal. And, even the boat itself isn't really the goal. It's a means to an end. It's a means to participating in something that I really want to do as a dream of mine. Now, obviously, there's other ways of getting around the world. The reason I settle on sailing is because I really enjoy sailing, and I really enjoy being out on the water, and you know, that's the method, that's the means that I want to use to get out and do, and accomplish this. Ooh, here we go, Biological 4. We're definitely going to go and check that out. That's the means by which I want to achieve the success that I'm looking for. So, what was that? Biological 3. So we're going to be in this system pretty much this entire episode. Let's finish scanning that. What's this? Okay, so we'll be heading over there here in just a minute after we finish scanning the rest of the bodies here. Okay, get our super cruise assist set up on this guy there. Get ourselves turned over to this guy, and we'll start heading off in that direction. So, you know, I bring that up. I bring up I like to use examples whenever I'm talking about things. I've found that examples are generally the most effective way to convey a concept or teach a new idea or whatever it is. I personally have very little interest in money and being rich. I have zero interest in being famous or having any kind of power over people or having any kind of serious influence over people or anything like that. That's not really a goal that I have, which is kind of funny because here I am on YouTube trying to get people's attention and trying to make this something that provides me with some level of income. And really, that's really the that's really the end goal. I know a lot of people get really upset when you start talking about money as a content creator. I have no fear of doing that because you know, I'm not here to BS anybody. I've said in the past that I would not choose YouTube as my career. It's simply a means. It's simply a path that I've been going down because the circumstances kind of pushed me in that direction. But the point I guess I'm trying to labor towards here is that success is not something that can be defined by anybody but you. And for me, I think one version of success for me is if I'm able to find a way to do the traveling that I want to do, the mobile lifestyle that I'm trying to get to. Even not like I don't have a single goal that is going to define success for me other than I want to be able to earn a living from wherever I want to be. So for me, it's like I don't have a desire to make tons and tons of money. What I really want is to be able to go where I want, when I want, and make money in a way that allows me to do that. So for me, that is a measure of success for me if I'm able to figure out a way to make that happen. I don't personally care what I'm doing to make that happen. It's the goal of being able to travel at will and not be tethered to a single location and be financially stable in doing that. And that's like, for me, at this point in my life where I am right now, that is my version of becoming successful. Now, obviously, somebody who's very money-centric or who's very, traditionally minded as far as, no, you need to have a house and you need to have a car and you need to have a traditional family and you need to have this and you need to have that. And it's like, well, yeah, that's maybe you've decided that that's success for you, but that's not me. I have no interest in most of those things. A house is just going to be something that I have to constantly maintain. And yeah, you're able... you're able to, I'm trying to focus on putting these down. You're able to invest in a property, and that's something that will provide you with a lot of long-term value. But a lot of people don't think about the amount of maintenance and all that other stuff that comes with owning a property. And are you willing to invest that extra money the extra time and extra money to, maintain a property that you're trying to do? Concha versus Tubus and Tussock. I'm going to leave the Tubus up, and actually we'll do the Concha here, and I'll try to aim for the top right part of that. So we'll aim for we'll aim for like right here, this area, because in between these two patches of concha, should be all of the other stuff that we're looking for. So I'm going to come down this way to give myself some room to angle in towards it, and then we'll head down and see if we can find everything.
Orbital flight engaged.
So yeah. I mean, I guess if we come down into this flatter spot here, and then hopefully I don't get turned around too much, and then I can head up and that way. Just have a bad feeling I'm gonna get turned around, and I'm not gonna know where I'm going. So we want to be going more to the north, I guess. So I need to try to remember that. We'll come down into this area, and then once we're done here, we'll head north. And hopefully that will take us where we're trying to go. Fortunately, this flatter spot, the problem with the heat maps is that it'll tell you that it's a flat spot, but then it's not. Okay. Let's get our night vision turned on to get some outline definition and see if maybe we can find some of what we're looking for here. Here we go. That's what we're looking for right there. So now I just need to find a place to land. Try to turn this way. Maybe I can actually get some... Huh. Well, this is the frustrating part. Got a couple of... Oh, right there, right there. Where is it? Where is it? Nope, nope, nope. We keep finding it, and it's like such a small little spot. There we go. All right. So we'll run over, grab this, hopefully find two more, and then we'll we'll do a heading of 360 and see if we can get over to the spot where some of these other ones are. But unfortunately, we're going to have to run a little bit to get to these guys because the terrain is just bumpy enough to where I can't land right next to where I want to be. Which is always pretty unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is. Run over here, grab this guy, and then we'll run back. So, yeah, back to the topic at hand. You know, before the internet was a big thing, and before we had all this access to different kinds of information, it was much harder to kind of go your own way and be taken seriously because, you know, you had very limited information available to you compared to what we have now. So watching other people experience their version of success and not be ridiculed because, oh, you don't have a house, or you don't have this, or you don't have that, you know, it was much harder to take those kinds of people seriously because you just didn't see it. All you saw was everything that was on TV as I smashed into the ground. And you know, everybody on TV had a house and a car and a family and a full-time, you know, standard kind of job, and that's just what they had. And now we live in a world where, you know, more people are able to pursue more different, diverse goals, and those things aren't necessarily going to be the thing that does it for you and makes you feel like you're successful. And so the point of this message today is not to justify me not wanting to follow other people's dreams, because obviously I don't need to justify that. I can do what I want. The point of the message today is for anybody who might be coming across this message, to tell you that you don't have to pursue, you know, what other people are telling you that you should be pursuing. True happiness is only going to come when you are able to live the kind of life that makes you happy. People try to guilt us into, you know, obligating ourselves to things that we don't necessarily want to be obligated to. They try to obligate you into, you know, family things. They try to obligate you into having a certain kind of job. They try to obligate you to living into a certain community. They try to obligate you into any number of different things that you might not choose for yourself if other people weren't pressuring you into doing it. And that's a pretty crappy way to live, because, you know, you might not be the kind of person that gets very much out of that. And why are we stuck?
Landing gear retracted.
Okay. So what did we say? 360. We got what we needed out of that. Let's get our night vision turned back on.
Landing gear retracted.
We'll turn off our landing gear so that we can get a little bit of distance here with some speed. And then, yeah, so north was what we were looking for after we finished there, so we could get into the area that had all of the tubus and all that other stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to find this pretty soon. I'm really focused right now because I don't want to crash, so that's why I'm not talking. I'll get back to that once we have gotten to where we're going, and the danger of slamming into things is much less than it is right now. Okay, so we got a bunch of what? What is this? These are just rocks, right? Yeah, they're just rocks. But we are in a big flat open area, so I'm hoping that we're going to see some, at least tussock or something. Because we have tussock, tubus, and bacteria left. Oh, there we go. Let's get our landing gear back down, and we'll start grabbing some of these guys here. All right. So, yeah. The problem I have is that I tend to have a certain viewpoint of the world that a lot of people don't like. To them, it sounds like a bunch of negativity. You know, to me, I've always felt like I'm a realist, but everybody who calls himself a realist says that, so... You know, it is what it is. But I do try to be positive as much as I can. And the message for today is intended to be more of a positive one. It's not selfish to, you know, look at yourself and decide this isn't what I want for my life. You are not here to, you know, meet the expectations of everybody around you. You only need to meet other people's expectations when you decide that their expectations are important to you. And if you genuinely want the traditional version of success, if that's something that you believe is going to make you happy, then absolutely go for it. But I really always try to advise people to, you know, don't just go after those things because, you know, that's what you were told to do. Really think about it. Really look at yourself and what you want out of your life and decide if that's actually what you want. Having money obviously makes it easier to do the things that you want to do, but at the same time, you know, it takes time and effort to make money, and that's time and effort you're spending to get that money is time and effort you're not spending doing whatever it is that you want to do. And, you know, a lot of people spend a significant portion of their lives busting their ass to make tons of money, never able to enjoy it, and a lot of them end up dying before they're able to do whatever it is that they want to do. Whether it's because they died sooner than they expected, or they just got too old to do whatever it was that they were wanting to do. You know, I mean, our time here in this world is not guaranteed. You are not guaranteed to make it to 50, 60, 80, 90, however old it is you think you're going to live. And, you know, if you spend your whole life looking down the road, hoping, you know, planning that things are going to work out and you're going to have the money to do whatever it is that you want to do, you may never get to that. It's entirely possible that, you know, you reach the age of 45 and you have some kind of heart condition that you weren't expecting, and that's it for you. And then you spent your whole life busting your butt for a future that you're never going to get. And that's a pretty scary thought when you think about it. So, you know, you got to really decide, what does success actually mean for you? I mean, in my personal opinion, there's nothing wrong with your version of success being you just want to make as little money as possible, have the simplest life possible, chill, play video games, and do nothing. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are going to look at that and be like, you're a lazy bum, but, you know, that is all about expectations, you know? If you are meeting the expectations that you've set for your life and you're content with those expectations, you've managed to find success. You know, there's nothing that says that success has to be something that impresses other people. There's something to be said for discounting the viewpoints of other people in your life. Just because you allow people to come into your life and you allow them to become important to you, that doesn't mean that they get a say in what your life has to look like. It's perfectly fine if you want to minimize the amount of stress and frustration in your life and put yourself in a position where, you know, you just don't need nearly as much as a lot of the other people around you. That's one of the things that I'm really trying to get to in my life, is to, you know, downsize everything to the point where I don't need to make, you know, $100,000 a year to live my life. Like, I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have that hanging over my head all the time. You lose your job, you lose your income, and then what? You know, now you have to figure out how you're gonna come up with all this extra money that you may not be able to get anymore. Simplifying your life to the point where you only need, you know, $20,000-$30,000 a year to live and be comfortable. I think that's a pretty smart thing to do, if I'm perfectly honest with you, but that's just me. But it also makes it so that, you know, you're not if you can get down to the point where you're not having to work all the time, or where you're not having to make all of this money, then you're at the point where you don't have to be stuck at a job because you're worried about, oh man, now I can't pay my bills. If you have a job, or if you have a lifestyle that's minimalist and doesn't require insane amounts of income, here we go, that doesn't require insane amounts of income, that could potentially, like, I'm not going to say it's a guarantee, but it could potentially provide you with a great deal of flexibility, because there are so many more low-paying jobs out there than there are high-paying jobs, especially when you're dealing with something that requires extensive amounts of experience and specialization and things like that. You know, having options is a good thing. So, you know, it's just, the message I'm trying to get across to you is that, you know, just because you see things on the internet, or you see things on TV, or you see this or you see that, or you have people in your life who are trying to tell you that you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that and you need. Well, you know what? You don't need to do anything except what's going to put food in your belly, clothes on your back, give you a place to sleep, and ideally provide you with, you know, a little bit of entertainment from time to time. Anything else outside of that is just stuff that you want to do, and it's stuff that they want you to do because they've decided that that's what success means. If you're living your life trying to impress people, then you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle to live that kind of a life, because nobody stays impressed. Even if you figure out ways to impress people, nobody stays impressed. Like, you do something, they're impressed for 5 minutes, and then everybody moves on. And then what do you do? Then what? You're having to spend a bunch of time and effort finding the next thing to do to impress people. So, you know, my advice to everybody is to just find out what makes you happy, pursue the things that make you happy, and focus on that. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about what other people want from you. Only do the things that you want or are willing to do. You know, that sounds like kind of an asshole thing to say, but, you know, living your life any other way than that is just going to drain you to the point where you just don't care anyways, and you're just doing that stuff out of obligation. And what kind of life is that? You know? If somebody's important to you important enough to you to do some things that maybe you don't want to do, well, that's a different thing. You know, you're choosing to do that because you care. But outside of that, there's going to be a lot of people who try to get themselves into your life because they think they can get something out of you. Got somebody who's making a very loud backup noise right outside my trailer, and it's really frustrating. But anyways, this is going to go ahead and do it for our episode today. Hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click that like button if you did, so that the YouTube algorithm will know and send the video out to as many people as possible. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing now, so that when the next video comes out, it will show up in your feed and you will be able to watch it as soon as it becomes available. Channel members get early access to all of my content, so be sure to click the join button, check out the list of options available there, and decide if any of those are right for you. If you're not interested in a membership, you can always leave YouTube's version of a tip with that thanks button. Direct contributions are greatly appreciated and a critical component to helping to turn this channel into a full-time gig, which is the dream and my version, well, a path to my version of success. So again, thank you very much for your time. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Be sure to come back for the next one, and I'll see you then.